What's going on, people? What's going on? It is Wake Up 502 After Dark. This is your boy, Raashaan Myers, coming to you live from the palatial Shawnee studios of Wake Up 502. Joined as always by my man, the myth, the legend himself, the architect, Haven Harrington. Haven, how are you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Excited to talk a little football, uh, talk a little Virginia Tech, Louisville, a little California, Louisville. And this, we also got to touch on just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. I see you got your blackout ACC t-shirt there, which is apropos because we could talk about ACC being blacked out of the college football playoffs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into all that tonight. It's definitely an episode where we can break down everything. There's been a lot of football talk after last night's CFP rankings being made available to everybody, the first ones. So yeah, definitely, we're gonna get into all that. But of course, we must look back before we look forward. Of course, Roman Kelly, aka Romy Bean, think he may be joining us a little bit later as well, and I'd love to get his thoughts on that, Haven Harrington. But of course, Louisville went on the road to Blacksburg for the first time since joining the ACC. Of course, Louisville's longtime rivals from back in the old Metro Conference. We had not been to Blacksburg since I believe 1991 was the last time they made the trip up there. Louisville was able to go up there, come out victorious. A 28-16 game. Very interesting game all the way around. It was a little bit shaky at first. We've seen Louisville get off to some slow starts. We saw them get off a slow start against Pittsburgh. We saw them get off to a slow start against Boston College. They get off to a slow start again today. This is 2 weeks in a row, Haven, where Louisville's gotten off to kind of sluggish starts and then had to fight their way back. And the defense wakes up and kind of shuts out the team in the second half. What are your biggest takeaways from the game? Just give me one or two of your biggest kind of takeaways from that performance.
We're 8 games in the season, and we are who we are. We are a team with a great defense, a great running game, which may have been diminished a little bit with the injury of Isaac Brown. It looks like he may be out for the rest of the season. Um, and we're a team on offense that we're just prone to turnovers and mistakes. But we find a way to win. Our defense comes through and we find a way to win. Despite trying to shoot ourselves in the foot at least once a game every game. It's almost like a broken record at this point, right? Because this game, like the only outlier so far this season really has been the Miami game. That's like the only game where we came out on offense, firing on all cylinders, playing pretty much mistake-free football the whole game, and managed to win. But every other game since then, whether it's Virginia, whether it's Boston College, Virginia Tech, Pitt, uh, you name it, every AC and even JMU, to that matter, we found a way to shoot ourselves in the foot, get behind, and then claw our way back to win.
Yes,
Except for Virginia.
it's very interesting because I've seen a lot of people question is Louisville good and how good are we, and we can't really figure out this team and don't really know what they can believe in. I think that for me, I know who this Louisville team is. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on who this Louisville team is and what they are and what they should be doing. But the tough thing right now is that Jeff Brom seems to still be trying to figure out who this team is, at least offensively. And it's odd for me that that's the case, considering that he called and had the perfect game plan against Miami and has not really gone back to that game plan since the Miami game. And I don't, it feels to me, honestly, Haven, like that's probably my biggest takeaway from these last two games is that it feels like Jeff Brom saw opportunities against Boston College and against Virginia Tech where he didn't really feel like either of those two teams were good enough to beat his team. So it felt like he came out of the gate trying to open up the offense and trying to get some confidence in Miller Moss and work in the deep passing game. And that's where Louisville continues to get itself what they should. It's that it seems like to me, Jeff still doesn't want to come to the realization that Miller Moss has just about edge. Like I think um, that's probably the biggest thing is that it just feels like um, it really just feels like does it he just doesn't want to understand that this dude's not going to be able to get the ball and kick it down or throw it down the field effectively consistently. Like against Miami, they were so afraid of Ruben Bain and they were so afraid of that pass rush that that they really made it a point to get out there. Um, that they really made it a point to get out there and
Yeah, and I understand what you mean, man. They're trying to, that they're trying to make it so what Jeff is trying to do, and this was so annoying, right? Because Jeff, God bless his soul, he wants a drop back passer that can just sling the ball downfield so bad. Like that's what he wants his offense to be. He wants his offense to be a guy that can drop back, throw it, throw a 40-yard bomb, throw a 50-yard bomb, hit Chris Bell going down the sideline,
right,
hit Colin Lacey, deep going down the sidelines. And that's what he really wants. Like he wants to rip it and then hit you with a running game that's going to be electric with
right.
guys averaging 7, 8 yards a carry and having this dynamic offense. He wants to score 50 points a game like IU. Like, that's what he wants.
Well, and
But that's
honestly,
not what he has.
but Haven, honestly, really and truthfully, he can have that offense. He just can't have that offense the way that he wants to have that offense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can score all those points because he has a good defense that gives you these additional possessions and additional opportunities. The thing is that he's going to have to slowly matriculate the ball down the field, maybe
But
getting
that's
it.
not missing. But that's what he wants to do. He wants to be like IU, where the guys, where you're watching highlight films, ESPN. If you don't have YouTube TV, watching highlight reels of ESPN, where the guys like ripping these 30, 40, 50, 60-yard bombs. And, the guys are beating the defense deep and he's throwing it right in the basket. Like, that's what he wants.
But guess
But
what?
that's not Miller Moss.
I was gonna say if that's what you want, then don't go get the the scratch and dent discount quarterback out of the recycle bin. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you want, then go get a quarterback that can do that. But unfortunately, that's not what you have. You're 8 weeks, you're 8 games into the season. I feel like you should know that by now. Does that like if it feels like I understood going out after the Miami game, Haven, and trying to come out against Boston College and trying to see, okay, let's see if Miller Moss, now that he has the confidence of going to Miami and getting that win, let's see if we can open it back up a little bit and he can do better. I understand that. I'm okay with that. But are you surprised at all that after not having success and having to struggle mightily before finally putting Boston College away, are you surprised that Jeff Brown went back to the well again against Virginia Tech on the road?
He just can't help himself. It's like, Miller Moss can't do that. Your offensive line can't block that long. Why are you still trying to get me? We've been calling for this literally since Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah,
Since Eastern Kentucky, we've been like, dude, short passes. Miller Moss does not need to hold the ball longer than 2.5 seconds. That's it. Anything longer than that is a turnover waiting to happen.
yeah,
Don't roll him out the pocket. What are you doing? You know he can't throw the ball on the run. His accuracy just drops like a rock as soon as he leaves the pocket. 3 seconds at the most.
yeah,
Give him a read, give him an easy read, an easy out, a drag across the middle. Tight. The same stuff we've been saying all year. Just that's your passing game. That is your passing game. Miller in the offensive line can't do anything else. I'm sorry. Have you seen a deep bomb literally all year?
I'm trying to think of how many successful downfield throws that Miller has completed this year, honestly. And I can think of a few. And honestly, half of those came against Eastern Kentucky in the first game versus a FCS opponent.
And one of those was Dakari Collins, who was in triple coverage that just
Yeah,
mossed all three of those dudes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, none of your super successful pass plays have come from more than 10 to 15 yards down the field at most, and most of them have come between 5 and 10 yards down the field.
Your biggest plays have been from a running game.
Yeah. I
Your
mean, even
biggest plays
even
have been
Steve
from running game.
Sarkeesian, even Coach Sarkhaven has realized that, you know what, Arch Manning can literally only throw screen passes. I'm only going to throw screen passes and 5 yards downfield to the tight end because that's all Arch can handle, and I'm just going to let my Texas athlete and lean on my defense. Literally, Texas is running the offense. I mean, Miller Moss is not as bad as Arch. Like Miller can at least go 5 to 15, like he can at least go 5 to 15 and throw that little slant, that quick slant. He's good at that. Arch can't even do that. But my point is this: Texas has figured out what works for Arch Manning, and they're maximizing what he can do well. And that's the only thing that's been super frustrating for me is that Jeff Brom just seems to refuse to accept who Miller Moss is as a quarterback.
This Louisville team is like the beginning of that book. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, right? Because that's what this team is so maddening because you know how much talent they have. Like
War and peace.
you know how much talent they have, but yet and still they just, for whatever reason, refuse to put everything together. They just refuse to put everything together. Like there's going to be a stretch of the game, and it happens every game except for Miami, where they're going to go at least 10, 15 minutes and look like they have no idea what they're doing. Like the defense will still be okay. The offense will just be like they don't know what they're doing. Miller Boss is trying to throw an interception. He doesn't do it, and he winds up finally throwing an interception. There's a crazy fumble there. It's just, but then they right the ship, and next thing you know, they bust off a couple of big runs. Game's over, and that has been
Yeah.
like literally the playbook like all season long, except for the Miami game where they played hard the entire game.
And you know what's crazy, Haven? Is the places where Louisville had the most deficiencies, that we've harped about. We've harped about the punting being terrible. The punter has gotten better. He's gotten a little solid, even though he did get a punt block against Virginia Tech because he was just way too slow getting rid of that football. But other than that, his punting average has gone up, and the offensive line, since they got Trevante Sylvester back, has been much better. Once Sylvester came back versus Miami, against Boston College, and against Virginia Tech, the offensive line has done a much better job in the running game, and now they're handling business. Literally, the only two spots where Louisville is still consistently inconsistent is with Isaac Brown being able to hold on to the football in the running game, and Miller Moss's inconsistency as a passer.
And apparently Isaac Brown being healthy is also an issue because he
Yeah.
pulled his hamstring up on the run. He may be done for the year. I put my hamstring in high school, and it's not the easiest thing to come back from.
I mean,
I
Lamar
will,
Jackson was out, what, 3 games, three full
yeah,
games? Yeah, so I mean, there's a chance that Isaac can come back, but you're looking at, at the most positive estimate, you're looking at possibly SMU. But I mean, this could go until whatever postseason Louisville's playing for before we see Isaac again. So you've got to hope. I know there's been a lot of questions about Duke Watson and if he's going to come back. Jeff Brom said he's going to hope that Duke can give it a go. Duke was dealing with a kind of a high ankle, so I know that's kind of one of those tricky injuries as well. But hopefully, he's going to be ready to come back, and he's going to be able to come back because if you don't, then you're pretty much Keywan Brown and Braxton. What's the kid's name?
to Keywan Brown and two true freshmen. So yeah, so if those guys don't come back, we're stuck with Keywan Brown and two true freshmen. So that's gonna, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
But
I
you know
mean,
what? But Keywan has proven, man, that he has. We lost Rashawn, but he's back now. But Keywan has proven that he can tote the ball,
Yeah, no,
and he's explosive. I mean, he's not as fast or explosive as Isaac, but hey, the past two games he's ended the past two games with long touchdown passes. I mean, with long touchdown runs to seal the game. So hey, hats off to my man Keywan Brown for doing it big. But you know, hey, I'm excited to see what Louisville's going to do next.
yeah, yeah, and you know what? Once again, Colin Lacey reestablished. Like Louisville has so many special players on this team. They have a special defense. They have a special plus playmaker in Chris Bell on the outside. They have a special playmaker in Colin Lacey who just went absolutely off in the game. Louisville found a way to get him involved in the passing game. Had the receiving touchdown. He was humongous in the punt game. Had
Man,
several.
he
Um,
he almost had a couple of scores
yeah.
from punt return, but he was able to flip the field, which
Yes.
is immense. He was really able to flip the field where he thought it was going to be pinned back. You know, he's able to take that punt 60 yards. Next thing you know, we're already in scoring position. So, man, Colin had a great game, and I'm excited to see what happens next. This Cal team can play ball. I mean, I know they lost Virginia Tech, and I watched that game,
Yeah.
and honestly, Virginia Tech beat them the same play over and over and over again with the when I almost to the quarterback Steve with the read option, and it's a slow developing option, but Cal bit on the read option like every single time. I mean, like every time. I
Yeah.
mean, when it was obvious what they was going to do, all the linebackers still just bit, which makes me think the linebackers going to bite that hard. Man, a couple of play action passes, he should be able to hit the tight end over the seam, and he should be by himself. But I think Miller can throw that pass.
Yeah. I mean, that right there, he can make that throw. He can make that pass. But you know what the funny thing is? I think the biggest reason, I think that where the disconnect from between Miller and Brom is coming from is the fact that Miller always wants to throw the ball to his primary read. So if his primary read is a guy that's going deep, like let's say it's a pass play where it's set up for Chris Bell to do something on the outside, deep in pattern, deep cross, deep fade, whatever. And that's the primary read. It feels like when Brom, because Brom's looking at it like, okay, I'm going to call this play. Chris is the primary read. But if Chris is not there, then you're going to have Trayshawn Hurry about 10 yards, 10 yards down the field, and you're going to have a tight end in the flat. So if you can't get it to Chris Bell on your initial read, then you have two other options that you can get the ball to. So when Brom's calling the play, he's like, okay, we're going to try to get it to Chris over the top. But if it's not there, here are your other guys you can do. And it feels like Miller just refuses to go to his release valves or his supplementary options on these passes. It's like he's trying to force. When he threw that interception against Virginia Tech, I mean, Chris Bell was covered by like three or four guys, and he just threw it anyway. Just hoping that it was going to get through. And I don't know, Haven Harrington. How do you get to your fifth year playing quarterback at the Division I level?
I mean, that's why he got benched at USC.
It's wild.
I mean, I completely understand why he got benched at USC. It makes perfect sense. He's been here long enough. I've seen him play long enough. I can see why Lincoln Riley's like, I'm going to go a different direction because like he shows flashes of greatness, but you also, I mean, you don't know when it's going to happen. He's like Jesus, like you know when Jesus gonna come like a thief in the night. Miller Moss is going to turn the ball over like a thief in the night. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know it's going to happen.
I
Like
mean,
you,
it's just,
like you know it's going to happen. You know it's going to be a bad pass. He's going to miss a couple of wide open dudes. He's going to throw high a couple of times. He's going to go a couple of series. I'm like, this is the worst quarterback in the history of college football. And then a couple other series of like he's the greatest quarterback in college football, and he'll do that like 2 or 3 times a game.
like, and I mean, Jeff Brom really, really micromanaged Miller in that Miami game. He called very quick plays and made sure that Miller just stayed exactly within the game plan, getting that ball out of there, and that was all he called. And Louisville dominated and controlled that game, Haven. Like Do you feel like at this point we'll understand that we'll go back to the tape, we'll figure out what works and kind of stick to that? Like, do you believe that that's even something? Like, are we going to ever see that? Are we ever just going to see Louisville kind of say, okay, let's stop with the shenanigans and just get back to just really, really managing everything that Miller does?
Maybe against better teams like SMU, he may do it. Uh,
You think California's going to be another opportunity where he's going to try to, you know,
California is a good team, and he should dial it down. But I don't know. Jeff just seems bound and determined to make Miller Moss this drop back downfield passer, even though he's not. He's just bound and determined to do it. So we'll see. I think he may try to do it, but will not be.
oh, now we got Haven. Hold on, let me get Haven back on there. Sorry about that, Haven. Now it looks like we're playing tag, but
Yeah.
continue your point.
Yeah. My point is like Bromley seems to turn make him a drop back passer, a drop back downfield passer, even though he's not. And I think Brom, just like Miller Moss goes, will go through a phase in the game. He was like, you know what? I feel pretty good about what's going on. Let's try to drop back some passes and see what happens. And then he's going to be like, okay, this is what I thought it was going to be. Let's go back to what he was doing before. And that's what I expect to happen to Cal, because it happened just like that Virginia Tech, just like we predicted. We said it was going to happen against Virginia Tech, and exactly what's going to happen. I think the same thing's going to happen against Cal. Cal's
Yeah,
a much better team, Virginia Tech, so you don't have as much you don't have much leeway. But when you got a great defense, I believe Kewan Brown can exploit the run on Cal, because Cal does have the best run defense. So
yeah.
if Kewan can get off and can run the ball and have that threat, then I think this actually may be a mirror of the Virginia Tech game. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and I mean, I am not as big on Cal as some are. I don't necessarily believe in them. I don't think I know Mike Rutherford thinks that Cal's pretty. He was singing their praises earlier in the year. I know they've kind of fallen on
Well,
some hard times.
Kyle's a pretty good quarterback, but they're also pretty basic, and they
He's
don't
a
have
true
like any.
freshman, and he's a
Yeah,
turnover waiting to happen. He's
and he, and
pretty
he, and
good
he,
for a freshman.
and they don't have like that true next level playmaker. There's like a solid team.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, and that's the type of guy that it feels like this Louisville defense should be able to go out there and make some things happen. But the biggest thing is this is once again Haven has to say it. Tell me if you heard this before. This is another game where the only way that this team can stay in this game with Louisville is with the turnover, with
It's,
the
it's
the silly mistakes.
just like Virginia Tech. If you can keep within one turnover or less, you should be okay. Louisville got away with the kind of block punts a turnover, which it is. Louisville had two turnovers against Virginia Tech, still able to win.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing with Cal. You can keep it within a turnover and less, and maybe you get a couple of turnovers yourself. The turnover battle's even, we'll win. If we just lose the turnover battle by one turnover and it's not an immediate touchdown, we'll win.
Yeah, I would love to see Louisville. Louisville has had at least one turnover in every game this year. Every game. Like that's been the most unbelievably frustrating thing about watching this team so far is just the fact that they cannot just take care of the ball.
Well, it's not only that, it's not the fact you have turnovers, it's the fact that you've had turnovers that's led to points
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, you've literally given away 42 points this year to the team. You would have been undefeated right now if it wasn't for turn the ball over for two touchdowns against Virginia. Or you
yeah,
would be undefeated right now, probably squarely in the college football playoff, like right there, because he could not deny you with that record.
yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, and I think that Louisville's going to go out there and I think they're going to put their best foot forward. But before we get into kind of the prediction, quote unquote, and the kind of talk about specifically what you want to see from California, we do of course have to announce our That Boy's Good Wake Up 502 That Boy's Good Player of the Game.
In
Uh,
honor of our brother Joe Kelly,
that's
that
right.
boy's good player of the game this week goes to your
Hold
favorite
on.
and mine,
Let's see. Hold on, hold on.
Let's see if we can do it.
Yeah, I got. Hold on, wait, hold on.
Oh, oh, close.
Hold
Oh,
on. I'm trying to channel my inner Roman Kelly, but hold on. I got it. I got you. Let's see. Where'd he go? Drum roll, please. And here it is.
oh, I see it.
There we go.
There it is. Colin Lacey, that boy's good. Player of the week. Give it up to him. 193 all-purpose yards. The man did the thing in the return game. I'm gonna tell you, he flipped the field a couple of times. He was the man. Give it to Colin Lacey, number 5 for Louisville
Like
Cardinals.
No, Colin Lacey. It was definitely a well-deserved honor. The young man was all over the field. He did his thing in the running game. He got the opportunity to run the ball and get a first down. He caught 6 passes for 53 yards, including a receiving touchdown. Was a monster in the kick return game. I mean, he was just all over the place. All-purpose yards, 193, 106 on the punt return, 33 on the kickoff return, 53 in the receiving game. So just dominant, dominant performance from Colin Lacey. Now our second two-time winner of the Dat Boys Good Player of the Week trophy award. So congratulations to Colin Lacey for getting that done once again, and just congratulations to him. So shout out to him, Haven Harrington. Um, like I said it before and I'll say it again, man. Louisville is blessed to have two of the biggest and best playmakers in college football. You want to know, actually, three of the best playmakers in college football, because you have Colin Lacey as a special teamer and an all purpose guy. You have Chris Bell, who's one of the 4 or 5 best wide receivers in college football. And you have Isaac Brown, who's, one of the 4 or 5 best running backs in college football. You
I
want to know why,
mean, you
go
got
ahead.
the trifecta. The only thing he misses is a quarterback.
Yeah, literally. Literally. I mean, it's amazing. Like that this team is this good. And I mean, I don't want to say this is a carbon copy to Jeff Brom's first team, but because I actually honestly think that Louisville's playmakers are better this year than they were with his first team at U of L.
I would agree.
I
His playmakers are better.
his playmakers are better. I think the defenses are about similar. This defense may be a little bit more consistent than the defense was in 2023. I think I give that to them. They are more consistently. Um, they get stops more consistently than that team did in 2023. That team in 2023, especially the second half of the season, really got on a roll, but they were kind of up and down a little bit. This defense has been lights out, rock solid since the first.
From day one.
Yeah, since the first game of the year, they have been locked down. So this is a great opportunity for Louisville. This is a great opportunity to make the college football playoff, which we're going to talk about where that stands right now a little bit later on. But this is a special team, and there's a reason why I predicted Louisville as 10-2 before the season. And while there was a lot of people that kept going to this 8-4 and this 9-3, I said that Louisville had, if you could not get to 10 wins and knocking on the door of the college football playoff against this schedule, which I did not think was the greatest schedule, and having, some of these playmakers that you have when you're returning, the biggest thing that we thought was, is the defense going to be able to stand up coming into this year? That was the biggest question mark, is how good is the defense going to be? And can Miller Moss be a consistent quarterback? Well, the defense has, been better than our wildest dreams, Haven. Like,
Oh,
it's
way better.
way better than we could have expected
And the
or asked
offense
for.
has been more consistent we could ever dream of it would be.
It's so weird because the offense is so good in so many places.
No, it's
It,
so good but so bad at the same time.
it's
It's
I've
the
never
best
seen
of
anything
times, it's the
like it.
worst of times.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's right where we're at. But congratulations to Colin Lacey. Super super excited to see what Louisville can do this Saturday coming up 7 p.m. Wasn't that nice of the ACC to make sure that if California was coming across country that they had that 7 o'clock tip kickoff? Isn't that nice
Yeah,
of them?
ACC loves us. What can I say? what can I say? But you know what about the Cal games is like I said before. I believe this game is probably going to be close to a mirror image of the Virginia Tech game.
Yeah,
Uh, we'll have a turnover someplace that may cost some points, but I think we have even without Isaac Brown, I think we still have enough offensive firepower and the defense as well. The defense at least gives one turnover. We have enough offensive firepower to score some points. Just like last week, probably like another 28-14 game.
yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. And California's had a bit of a odd road. That they've played. They've had kind of fits and starts on the road. Sometimes they play well. They started out the season, had a big win, 34-15 over Oregon State. They went out, they won that game. They come around, they come back against San Diego State, go on the road, lose that game 34-0. Then they go out, they get a road win at Boston College, 28-24. Um, which was their last road game. And, we'll see what happens against Louisville. So, I mean, they've gotten blown out once on the road. They blew out somebody once on the road. Then they played a really close, kind of tough road victory over a Boston College team, which we know to be not that great. So, like I said, I think that this is a game where, especially with Louisville's veteran, very aggressive, very successful defense, this California team at times is going to want to get this ball down the field because this quarterback can sling the ball. This seems like an opportunity for Clev Lubin, for Wesley Bailey, Jordan Garrard, and these guys to kind of, get after the quarterback. To me, everything that Louisville's done this year, well, Haven Harrington has always started with the fact that they're so good against the run, and they get you into those third and longs, and when they get teams in the third and longs, it's usually lights out. So
Yeah,
I mean that to me is the biggest key to the game. Is California, I'm sure is going to want to establish the run early, and if they can get those guys into second and long, third and long, there's no reason why they couldn't go out there and put on a show. But like, let me ask you, because the turnovers have been such a big key to this. Do you feel with the fact that Louisville's not going to have Isaac Brown, and we don't know if they're going to have Duke Watson available? We won't know what Duke's status is until we get the first injury report tomorrow. Um, if you're Jeff Brom and you're putting together this game plan, do you think that Jeff, because he doesn't have Isaac Brown, will he be less aggressive? Like, do you think that he'll maybe call a more
no, I don't.
conservative
I,
game
I
plan?
don't think. I don't think Jeff will change at all because you have to have faith in Kiwan. And Kiwan has shown that one, he can tote the rock, and B, he doesn't fumble.
Yeah.
So hey, you just trust what can Brown do for you, and trust with Kiwan.
Keywan
And
and Braxton Jennings, if because I know Jamaris Wilder, he's been on the injury report every week since then. I
yeah,
think Jamaris has only
I'll
played
be
in one game.
surprised if you see a lot of Braxton Jennings, but I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Kiwan Brown, and if Duke Watson's even 60%, he'll probably play a couple of downs just as a change of pace back. But I truly believe we're going to get Kiwan
You
Brown
think
some
we
bit.
might get 20 plus carries for Keywan Brown?
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
I think Kiwan will take all of Isaac's carries. Like I said, he's not quite as explosive, but he's explosive enough.
and he's consistent.
And he's consistent. He doesn't fumble. As you saw at the end of games, Jeff trusts Kevon with the ball. And the past two games, he's busted a water, he's busted touchdowns,
Yeah.
long touchdown runs, iced the game away. So I fully expect, Kevon to get the ball heavy. Like I said, 28-14. It's going to be a mirror of the Virginia Tech game, probably a mirror of the Boston College game. I don't think we'll sweat as much we did with Boston College. Um, but yeah, I think we get it done, and then it's for Louisville going forward, you just got to keep winning. The only way Louisville's gonna make the college football playoff now is they have to win out. They have to go 11-1 and make the ACC. Actually, even if they don't make the ACC championship game and go 11-1, I still think they ACC may get two teams in because one will be to deny Louisville at that point. Because 11 Louisville will have a much better record than let's say a 10-2 Notre Dame or a 9-3 Texas.
Yeah.
And I know they probably want to jump us with those. Well, Notre Dame's right ahead of us, but I can definitely see them being hard to let us out, especially when our only loss would have been against currently undefeated Virginia team. But we beat Miami. We beat a JMU team that's also 7-1, that hasn't lost a game. It's actually has been mauling people. So we beat Miami. They were number two at Miami. Uh, we beat a number 24, 25. I think Pitt's about to enter the top 25. So we beat a very good Pitt team, and then they keep rolling. Beat a very good JMU team. So like Louisville's resume, I mean, you watch Louisville play, it's amazing that they're 7-1, but hey, we just keep winning. And right now, our resume is a lot better than some of those teams ahead of us in college football playoff. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So just have to keep winning.
Yeah, no, and I like your game plan. I agree with you. In my personal opinion, I think that um, it will be a heavy Isaac. I mean, Keywan Brown game. I don't know if it'll be Eric Shelton esque, but it could possibly. Let's go old school. Let's get the fullback out there. Let's go heavy package and just beat up on these boys from the West Coast. I would love it. But one thing, if we can do Haven Harrington, because there was seemed to be a lot of it last week, can we please retire some of these bootleg? Like Brom really got bootleg heavy last game. He kept
Well,
wanting to roll Miller Moss out for some reason last week. I
the,
don't know
the,
what that was about.
that's because we've watched some of the film on Vatek. They've been susceptible to mobile style quarterbacks. So I think Brahma's like, Miller isn't the most non mobile guy. So, let's try to kind of run him out the pocket and see if we can create some mixed matches downfield. But I mean, that's just not Miller's not accurate enough to run and throw at the
He
same time.
doesn't seem to throw the ball well on the run. He just doesn't.
Not at all.
It just that was it was so funny because like I don't know if Louisville had run that many bootleg plays the whole season, and Jeff ran like 8 or 10 of those bootleg style plays. It was very weird to see. But let's retire the bootleg this game. If you want to go to play action quick out, out of an I formation and just kind of go with that, I'm okay with it. But um, let's just kind of stay away from the bootleg game. I didn't think it was really doing anything, and all it did was serve for me to
Yeah.
get nervous that Miller was gonna mess something up more than anything. But yeah, I would like to see a heavy Kiwan game. I would like to see um I'm okay with Braxton Jennings. Honestly, I liked what I saw from him. I know he's a walk on redshirt freshman, but he carried the ball strong in his opportunities against JMU and his opportunities against EKU. He was a little bit banged up, and then of course the schedule got tougher, so we haven't seen him since then. But somebody else is going to have to take that load. I don't think that it can just be exclusively Keywan. So I hope that guy is Duke Watson. I don't know if it will be. It honestly, Haven, from listening to Jeff Brom in the press conferences, he keeps talking about how he's going to talk to his people and talk to Duke's people and see if he'll be good to go. That almost feels like code to say we feel like he's ready to go, but Keywan's people keep saying that no, he's not. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, at the beginning of the season, we kind of thought that Duke may be transferring out because he played 4 games and he's been sitting ever since.
yeah,
So we thought that maybe this is him just kind of sitting
yeah.
out, waiting because hit that transfer portal so he can make some money someplace else. Some of this I think that actually maybe some of those discussions like there.
I mean, do you think now that they're with the injury to Isaac and him, going down, and the opportunity that Louisville has to make a college football playoff, do you think that maybe changes some of the, that does
Yeah,
that change the situation where maybe Isaac looks at this as an opportunity?
I think that may change the calculus. I think what also change the calculus a little bit is offensive line blocking better and like open up
Yeah.
running lanes because now if he comes back semi healthy and has that explosiveness and is averaging 9, 10 yards a carry a game, he's gonna make himself a lot of money next year, a whole lot of money. So I think that's some of the negotiations. Like, hey man, look, you got a chance. If you as good as you say you are, and actually as you were last year, come on out, tote this rock for the next couple of games and make yourself some money.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. So, as far as this game is concerned, um, I think that Louisville is going to come out there. I think that uh, I think they'll be pretty good. I think they'll be solid. Of course, I have a feeling that at some point there's going to be some goofy turnover because there's been some goofy turnover in every game. But I agree with you. I don't think they'll have to sweat as much as the Boston College game. Like I don't see Boston College leading this game at halftime. I think that Louisville, I could see them maybe being up 14-7, at the half, and then maybe pushing it out in the second half, making it like 35-14 or something like that in the second half. So that's probably, I'll give my official game prediction on Wake Up 502 on Saturday morning, coming to you 9 to 11 a.m. on 96.1 FM. Uh, but I'm guessing 35-14 right now is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's just kind of
Uh,
because.
Oh, so there goes Haven Harrington. He keeps disappearing on us. I don't know I don't know what's going on with Haven's situation, but he was about to say something profound. People, I guarantee you, it was about to be extremely profound. I'm sure he'll pop back in here in a second. But yeah, I see that being the most likely scenario for it. I just until California shows me that they can be a really good team. Like this is a team that struggled with North Carolina, and North Carolina's terrible, y'all. Like like North Carolina actually looked like they had an opportunity to win that game. And I'm sorry if you're California and this team has not shown the ability to do like anything with anybody and has just kind of made every team that they played look like, some Hall of Fame squad. I just can't go with it. I this is another game, and I know I spoke with Roman Kelly on Run In with Roman, or actually no, it was on the Mike Rutherford show earlier this week. They asked me for a vibe check, and I gave them a 10 out of 10 confidence level, which I know Louisville fans hate that, and so many folks are nervous and that they so want for Louisville to win that they don't want anybody being confident because as soon as somebody's confident, that's when problems happen. But hey, y'all know me. One thing that I've always been is a person. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm always gonna give you my opinion. And my opinion is, I don't think that California is that good. And the Louisville team sitting here with the defense that they have, and especially sitting in this, because I know Haven said he doesn't think that Louisville will be any more conservative. I definitely think that Jeff Brom is going to close ranks a little bit with no Isaac Brown there. I think he's going to try to call a bit of a safer game. I think you're going to see him probably micromanage Miller a little bit more in this game, and he's going to lean on Duke Watson in that defense. Not Duke Watson. He's going to lean on Keywan Brown in that defense, and hopefully Duke Watson. I mean, I hope Duke is there, but I'm not counting him until I see the game notes. If I see game notes as Duke Watson is probable, then it's on and popping. I would be excited to see it, and I think the Duke would be able to, make some things happen. But we'll see. We'll see with that. Um, I guess next we'll go ahead before hopefully Haven Harrington will be able to join back up on here. Um, I think we need to kind of chit chat with the. Oh, hold on, y'all. He says sorry about that. Um, uh, we got to get into this whole um, college football playoff thing. All right, so college football playoff comes out. A lot of people upset with how the ACC got treated, and how the ACC is looking in the initial playoff rankings and all those types of things. I mean, look, Louisville's coming out they're coming out at number 15 in these college football playoff rankings. Okay, they're sitting right behind Virginia, who's the highest rated ACC team at number 14. Now, it's unfortunate that Miami and Georgia Tech had to lose before the first CFP rankings came out. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, if Miami and Georgia Tech, if the college football playoff rankings either came out a week earlier, or if Miami and Georgia Tech don't get upset, I think all of the ACC teams will be rated higher this week. I know that sounds odd, but I feel like a lot of these teams that we see all these two-loss teams ahead of Louisville, and we see all these teams, like Texas, and we see Oklahoma, and we see Notre Dame. I think that in Utah, I think all of these teams are rated ahead of Louisville just because the credibility hit that the ACC took because of Georgia Tech losing and Miami losing. I think that was the big catalyst. Like, in my personal opinion, and I could be completely wrong on this, if that does not happen, and let's say that if Miami wins at SMU and Georgia Tech, gets their win against I can't even remember who they lost to last week. But if Georgia Tech gets their win from last week, honestly, Miami's probably sitting at you know probably number where BYU is at number 7, maybe probably number 7 or number 8 where Texas Tech is. And if Miami's at number 8, I think Georgia Tech's probably at where Ole Miss is at probably number 6. And if that's the case, if you have those two teams sitting at 6 and 8, I honestly think that both Virginia and Louisville are probably sitting at maybe 11 and 12. Probably Louisville's probably 12 in the initial rankings, but I do think that once those two teams lost, the college football playoff committee had all the ammunition that they needed to go ahead and that that completely just flipped this whole deal around. But I think that we'll just have to um, we'll just have to see what we can do about getting uh, you know l- raising Louisville up. Louisville getting where they're supposed to be, and just kind of um, just letting it play out. I mean, because I went back last year and kind of looked at the where Louisville was uh, this time in the very first college football playoff poll last year compared to this one. And Louisville started out number 22 in the initial rankings of the playoff rankings. Um, did not have any sort of fanfare. They were 6-3. All look lost, and to me, if they're able, if they were ended up sitting right outside of the they ended up sitting right outside of the college football playoff. If you remember, they were right there, like that. They were literally right there. Um, and I just don't think that people can get too caught up. Sorry about that. I'm sending Haven a new link, so hopefully he can get back in here. I don't think you can get too caught up in where Louisville is in the first ranking because there's still so much football left. Like all of these all these SEC teams are going to play each other, and the SEC is not going to just flip flop and move these teams and have them replace each other in front of Louisville. Louisville's going to move up. In fact, Louisville could move up. They're 15 this week. Depending upon how some scenarios go this upcoming week, Louisville could be sitting at 13 or 12 when the next college football playoff rankings come out. Not saying that it's likely or that it's definitely going to happen. But when you have like BYU and Texas Tech playing each other this week, that's going to be a big showdown. You have some other big time matchups this week upcoming as well. I mean, when you look at the top 25 games for this upcoming week, you have, let's see, hold on. We have, like I said, we talked about BYU at Texas Tech. That's going to be one that could help Louisville pop up there, depending on, if Texas Tech gets blown out, I could definitely see Texas Tech falling below Louisville. You have number nine Oregon having to go on the road at Iowa. If Oregon loses that game at Iowa, I think that's another one that could move Louisville up in the rankings. So I think that those couple of games are probably the two most likely. You do have a 7-1 Navy team on the road at Notre Dame. Navy's played really well this year. Of course, if they were able to go out there and upset Notre Dame, that could move Louisville up as well. So I mean, we just got to just chill out. I think Louisville has a lot of opportunity. If Louisville was knocking on the door of the college football playoff in year one with 3 losses, then Louisville sitting here with only 1 loss this early in the college football playoff ranking space, there's going to be a chance. There's going to be definitely a chance that this can happen. So I think that everybody just needs to relax on it. Did they kind of screw the ACC? I think they feel like they may have screwed the ACC. But the great thing about the position that the ACC is in, they still have a lot of teams that are going to continue to win football games. Like Pittsburgh has a humongous opportunity for the conference. If Pittsburgh can find a way to go out there and get that win on the road or excuse me, if they can get that win at home over Notre Dame the following week, that's huge. Like that's literally huge for the conference. So, I'll say this is that I understand people being upset about the initial rankings, but considering where Louisville and the conference stood last year, um, you know, were they a little bit better off because Miami was ranked in the top 10? And you had SMU, I think, at number 13, and then Louisville was in there at 22. There was only 3 ACC teams ranked in the poll. This year, you got 5 teams ranked in the poll in the initial poll, which they only had 3 last year, and you have all those teams ranked inside the top 20, which you definitely didn't have the year before. So people may say that the ACC is getting screwed. I think that the ACC is sitting in a very, very favorable spot to where the committee is going to end up having to do some serious shadiness to not let at least 2 ACC teams in. So I just think that it may suck that Louisville could have been higher and maybe should have been higher, but I think ultimately the teams that should have been behind them that are in front of them are going to end up losing anyway, so I don't think it's going to matter. A team like Texas is not making the college football playoff, y'all. They still got at least 2 losses in them and may have 3 losses in them. So it's just too early to have to worry about that stuff. I'll just put it like that. But I tell you what, we're gonna go ahead. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I was hoping that Haven Harrington would be able to hop back on there, but um, he's not able to get reconnected. So we'll go ahead. If you want to hear Haven's full thoughts on the college football playoff, that'll definitely be going down on Wake Up 502 this coming Saturday morning on WXVW Big X Sports Radio 96.1 FM 1450 AM. We'll be on the Big X there. We'll be breaking down everything pre-California. We'll also be breaking down the college football playoff and giving you our picks for the weekend. So we'll definitely have that and much, much more. Make sure you go to Main Event Sports Show on YouTube, like, subscribe there. Go to Main Event Sports on Facebook as well as Instagram, and check out at ME Sports for all the good things going on with Main Event Sports. Or you can check me out and everything that I'm doing. I'm pissing off all the Kentucky fans this week about the upcoming basketball game, but me and Roman Kelly will more than likely get into that on Breakdown 502 a little bit uh, upcoming later on this week. Or, hey, we might do some of that on Saturday morning as well. But this has been Raashaan Myers and Haven Harrington. Thank you guys so much for checking us out tonight. And like we like to end every show, without struggle, there is no progress. Peace, y'all. Congratulations, Colin Lacey. That boy's good player of the week for the